Sure. So, hi everyone. I'm Jacob. I'm the sales manager at Orpheus Cyber. Been working in the cybersecurity space for around about 3 years now. As for Orpheus, we are a threat intelligence company, and we've been working in the threat intelligence space now since 2016.
Excellent. And today you're going to give us a look at what kind of solutions you can provide to ComSec's customers.
Yeah, absolutely. So, giving a nice overview that should sort of fit the mid-tier space. So, as the first slide says, Orpheus takes a threat-led approach to cyber risk management. The issue that we found with cyber threat intelligence was the scalability of it. So, when we were producing a piece of work, you could only ever produce that work for one business at a time. And when businesses were receiving the information, it was data that required somebody to take the next level to be able to interpret it and to be able to contextualize it for the business. It all starts with the raw data sets. So this is a range of different things, whether this is picking up information off of social media, whether this is technical data sets, whether this, something such as the dark web. And we have a team of in-house analysts who continuously pull all this information together and apply their expertise and take that raw data and turn it into actual intelligence. And our platform is made of three key products, three key areas in which we service our customers, as well as still having the analyst services to wrap around and provide further contextualization. Products are attack surface management, third-party risk management, and we have a specific product for risk-based vulnerability management as well. Something that's a common problem with attack surface management solutions is, as I mentioned to you before, Dara, it quite often is just a case of pulling in information and essentially just highlighting an inventory. This is what your attack surface looks like. This is what you have. These are the potential attack vectors, etc. And it just becomes, like I mentioned, just a list, an inventory list. What we haven't been able to successfully do in terms of helping businesses understand sort of how is it applicable and why does it matter is by the application of the threat intelligence being sort of processed, is we're able to overlay that on top of the attack surface. So rather than just having a view of your attack surface where you see, okay, we have this vulnerability, we have that potential exposure, and then perhaps some sort of hypothetical score that might get put onto it to suggest how much the vendor thinks it's a risk. We overlay the threat intelligence to say, this is what the vulnerability is, but this is who is out there trying to exploit it. Who is it that's considering, who is it that has the intent? Who is it that has the capabilities to be able to exploit those vulnerabilities? And all of it creates just this, it creates a risk profile for your business. What is the likelihood of our attack surface being breached? And on top of this as well, we include just digital risks. So something that we find is a sort of a real common area of interest for customers is ideas like breach credentials. Is there anyone that's gone on and used their ComSec information when booking a flight or booking something, and have those details ever been breached, never been exposed?
Sure.
As well as, and we also have a risk-based vulnerability management solution as well. So this ties in really nicely to the attack surface management solution, because this, although it is a separate product to be able to cover sort of the internal vulnerabilities that people would pull from like a Tenable scan or a Qualys scan, it also applies to the external attack surface as well. Common problem with risk-based vulnerability management is you have a hypothetical severity of the vulnerability of the CVE, but what is always missing is that context of how likely is it to get exploited. And we worked with the Ministry of Defence back in 2021, where they asked us to be able to come in and support them on a specific piece of work, and they asked us to be able to deliver some key capabilities to basically enable that understanding of the likelihood. What is the risk to these CVEs? What is the likelihood of them being exploited? It's important to say, okay, well, these ones are already being exploited by 4, 5, 6 different companies. This one's being exploited by an adversary that we're concerned of, or this CVE that we have on our attack surface is being exploited currently in our sector or in our country. And it really helps give that view of any potential immediate risks to your vulnerabilities. The second capability that we have is about getting ahead of the threat. And that is by what is the likelihood of a CVE being exploited somewhere in the wild in the near future. And we're able to do this with an accuracy of up to 94%, which is something we continuously test and validate. The reason why this is valuable is someone always has to be the first one to have a CVE being exploited. If you can see which ones are most likely to be exploited in the near future, it allows you to just be able to have that peace of mind that not only overall immediate threats been dealt with, but all potential 0 days have been dealt with, and you're always 2-3 steps ahead of the attacker. And the final capability that we were asked for, and as you were mentioning a moment ago, is the CVE risk score that basically ties all of this in together. So the CVE risk score is essentially our equivalent of a CVSS score. And what it does is it's just a number between 0 and 100 that highlights how much risk a CVE poses to your business. Now, this is based off of, is it currently being exploited? What's the likelihood of it being exploited? If it is being exploited, who is it being exploited by? What country, what sector, etc. What country and sectors do you work in? And continuously sort of scale it, as well as getting an understanding of the asset that it sits on, the potential impact of that, to be able to tie that all in together, to be able to create a score that accurately aligns with risk. This is an area that's been sort of growing massively as businesses have become far more integrated. We find attackers realize that they don't have to exploit 10 businesses. They can just exploit one, and that will get them into 10 pretty quickly. And so, and on top of that as well, we're seeing things like NIST is coming out. We know that DORA, I think, is going to have quite a lot around third party. They're now putting quite a lot more expectation on businesses to manage their supply chain. And what our solution does is essentially creates a single dashboard that highlights the risk score of every single business that you work with. So the risk is obviously based off of threats that they face, the vulnerabilities that they have, put the two together and you get a score. What is the likelihood of this business being breached?
Jacob, thanks very much for that overview. I think it's very useful, especially from a risk management point of view and compliance. We see a lot of compliance coming down the road in the next couple of years for a lot of organizations, particularly in the financial institutions and the public sector as well. So really looking forward to working with you further on that. So I suppose what's the next step if anyone is interested in seeing more about the solutions we discussed today?
So next step, I guess, would be to contact the guys that you're most closely working with at ComSec. They'll be able to put you in contact with myself, and I'll be able to understand what it is that you need and be able to give you a demonstration of the platform.
Excellent. So a tailored one-to-one demonstration. That's great, Jacob. We'll leave you go, and thanks for being with us today, and we'll see you soon.
Yeah, good to see you again, Darren.